Despite the loss and despite the 0 sacks, the Seattle Seahawks pass rush actually made a bit of a comeback on Sunday. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Made it to Friday, made it to the end of the week, so it should be a better day than most for many. But you guys know what we do around here on Friday. We do a series that was fun when the season started, but I will tell you, it got a little bit less fun lately. Pass Rush Friday. So maybe today will be better. In fact, I'll go ahead and spoil it for you right now. Things were better, but you guys watched that Rams game, probably, right? Most of you probably did. You guys know we actually had a pretty decent pass rush in that game. We didn't get sacks, but we put Stafford in uncomfortable situations a decent amount. We were able to disrupt him. We were able to hurry him, able to force him to do things he didn't want to do. And in normal circumstances, that would result in a win, but couldn't quite squeeze it out there. So let's talk pass rush numbers. Let's talk the stats. So once again, these are pressures from Pro Football Reference. Pro Football Focus will give a rosier picture, but they do it for everybody, so in theory it evens out. So I'm not saying don't use Pro Football Focus, just understand that they are much more lenient with what they consider to be a genuine quarterback pressure. So defensive line here returned to at least partial form. We had 2 from Leonard Williams, Big Cat, and we had 2 from Jaron Reed. But that's it, right? Like Byron Murphy hasn't gotten a quarterback pressure in 6 straight games now, according to PFR. And when you're playing nose tackle a lot, which Byron Murphy does, he basically plays the one-tech role, you're not really going to be finding a lot of success getting to the quarterback and disrupting him. So that's probably not going to radically move the rest of the way. I'm sure he'll pick up some if he keeps playing, but the way things have kind of broken down in terms of Murphy's usage are definitely limiting things there, and there's nobody else, right? Maybe Roy Robertson Harris, but I'm telling you guys, he's really nothing special. I don't see... He's a little better than a guy like a Miles Adams or a Mike Morris, but only a little. So, to me, that was still a little bit of a weird acquisition. Not a bad player, but there's a disappointing amount of juice coming from this defensive line right now, given how big the overall investment into it is. Okay, so that's it for the defensive line. That's 4. We got 1 from the linebackers. It was Dodson. I'm not saying Dodson had a good game, but he is. We did send him on the blitz a pretty good amount, along with Ernest Jones. And even though they didn't get credit for a ton, I thought they did a pretty good job of at least making Stafford act a little bit earlier than he probably wanted to. So I've had some harsh words on Dodson for the most part this year, but I think that there are some things about his game that are good. I'm just really disappointed in the overall picture, but he might find some synergy with Ernest Jones on that double A-gap blitz. I'm wondering if maybe that'll become a thing. We used to love the double A-gap blitzes with Wagner and Wright. And that was it for the inside linebackers, and we get to the edge rushers, where it's pretty simple. Boye Mafe got 1 quarterback pressure in this game. Derek Hall got 1. It was actually 0, but I gave him 1 because we all know he got hosed on that roughing the passer call, and that should have been a pressure, that should have been a knockdown. And the refs didn't give it to him because of the penalty. And when you pick up a roughing the passer call, you don't get credit for the pressure, right? So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give him 1. He deserves it. And ultimately, when we're doing this series, we're trying to evaluate players, not just evaluate numbers. So I gave Derek Hall 1 QB pressure. And then you have our leader for the game. And guess who? Draymond Jones, who, even though he led the team in pressures, 3 according to PFR, I don't know if you can say he had a good game. And I don't know if it's worth all the headaches that we're dealing with on these rundowns where it just seems like he can't hold up. But we are actually already very close to our total projection for Draymond Jones this season at 13 out of what I thought would be about 14. So I'm not saying Draymond Jones is good. I'm not saying that Draymond Jones needs to be here next year, but it is kind of interesting and amusing to note that the pressure numbers indicate that he's actually kind of bringing it this year. Cornerback, nothing. We did send Witherspoon a couple times, and there was one play where he was in the vicinity of Stafford, but I don't think that should be considered a pressure, and neither does PFR. And then nothing from the safeties, which means welcome back to double digits for the first time in a while. We got to 10 quarterback pressures. Now, again, one of those pressures I kind of put in myself because I don't think it's fair that Derek Hall gets no credit for that play when he only didn't get credit for it because of some garbage call. So, in reality, it's 9, right? But I think it's 10. For our purposes as people trying to, again, evaluate players, not numbers, it's 10. So, definitely still moving on the right track in a lot of areas, right? Like, Leonard Williams is on pace to crush my preseason projection. He's going to end up doing a lot better than I thought he was going to do. Jaron Reed's on pace to beat what I thought he was going to do, right? We're getting a little bit less than I was thinking from the inside linebackers overall in terms of pressures, but not by some devastating amount. And obviously the Baker projection would have been much lower if I knew he was going to get traded midseason anyway, so that's barely meaningful. Maffei's on pace to meet expectations. Hall's already beaten expectations. Draymond has actually already met my expectations, so he's going to beat them. And again, that doesn't mean he's a good player. That just means in this one area he is contributing. And I wasn't expecting a ton from the secondary anyway, so what's the real problem here? Why is this pass rush dried up? It's because Byron Murphy was a player we expected to add a non-trivial amount to this pass rush, and so far he's been a non-factor in terms of actually getting to the quarterback. Not saying he's bad, not saying he's not valuable, not saying he's not providing value in other areas, but there's really not much of a pass rusher there at all. And Mike Morris. Mike Morris is probably the other big one that really hurts right now, that we're just getting nothing there. And we're not really getting much of anything to replace the nothing that we were hoping Mike Morris would fill with something good. And of course Nwosu, but I think we all have an understanding of that. And a guy like a Derek Hall probably wouldn't have 18 QB pressures on the season if Nwosu was playing in every game. So, you know, there is a little bit of that effect here. But yeah, we've fallen off pace officially. We're down at 88. The goal this season should be about 190, maybe 200. Again, this projection is going to be a little bit high because Baker got traded and some guys have gotten hurt, but yeah, we're not on track. And it mostly goes back to that Bills game, which was an all-time embarrassment defensively. But overall, after starting from such a strong position, it's pretty pathetic that we're here right now. And you know, all I can say is that they got another half a season to get back on the right path at the very least. Okay. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. More videos coming. But again, it is Friday before a bye week. So in all likelihood, there's going to be less to talk about because we don't have a game coming up. So maybe 2 more videos later today, and that'll do it. See you guys later.